brother, Geoff Diggles. Welcome to the Baines Lodge hot seat.
Pleasure.
Appreciate you doing the interview. You're current master of Anchor's Home Lodge and junior warden in Baines Lodge. Tell me, Geoff, what made you decide to inquire to become a Freemason in the first place?
Well, it was a bit of a roundabout story, to be quite honest. It wasn't that I actually inquired. It was something I knew about because I had some very close friends, 30, 40-year friends, who were actually in the fraternity. They were all Freemasons. And they spent 12 months telling me about it when we used to go for drinks down the local pub and asking me if I was interested. So I attended a couple of social events, but at the time I didn't want to make the step at that particular point. And then I went to a particular gents to dine. It was October 2013. And at that point, I enjoyed it that much. I realised what I was missing, all the friendship and all the togetherness that was in there. And I thought, no, this is right for me. And I think that was a Friday night, and on the Saturday morning, I filled in the form, and that's where it went from there. And I was eventually initiated in March 2014. So I had a few months to wait. So did a couple more socials in between, but it actually came about purely through friendship and and my friends convincing me that it would be right for me.
Now that you're master of your lodge in Anchor's Home, which has been your favourite role as you progressed in your Masonic career? Which one have you enjoyed the most?
To be honest, I think a few people have said this to me before, and I have to agree. It was the junior deacon role, because as a junior deacon, you've got the trust of that new candidate coming in, somebody that doesn't know what goes on in Freemasonry apart from what they've maybe been told a little bit in the socials or the leading up to them joining, and you've got the trust of that person. They're relying on you to guide them through what is a big step for them, and I think having that trust from someone, it's a big responsibility, but it's also one that's an honour to do, and it's also a pleasure to do, because when you get to the end of that evening, you can see how grateful that person is to have done so. A junior deacon, without a doubt.
Do you think that once you've been in that role with a new member of the lodge, do you think that it forms a special bond of friendship between the two of you?
I think it does, because that particular person then starts using you as a little bit of a mentor, asking you questions. How do you do certain things? What's the best way to go about something? And I think it does. It becomes deeper than a mentor, because you actually become good friends with them, because you've just formed that bond. And as they go through Freemasonry, you're always there to help them because you were there at the start. And I think it's just the perfect role for anybody that wants to progress in Masonry.
Having sadly lost your mum recently, has being a member of Baines Lodge helped you get through that grieving process?
Most definitely yes, because like anybody that goes through those sort of things, it's a big loss, because your parents are your mainstays in your life. It doesn't matter where you are in your life with your relationships, your children, anything else. Your parents are those main blocks in your life, and I think having those friends and having that support, because I think this is one of the biggest things in Freemasonry that people need to know about. It's those close friendships that you develop, and that trust you develop with all those people around you, and you suddenly realise how much everybody's in your corner. Everybody backs you, everybody supports you. And I think on that particular point, knowing that I had friends I could just phone up, or people that were phoning me or sending me nice messages, it just helps you process the things that you go through when you're going through a sad time like that and a difficult time like that. So I couldn't be more happy with the people that I associate with and I'm friends with in Baines Lodge, because they're just a fantastic set of people who will always be there whenever you need anything. And I think that makes a massive, massive difference to your life.
Geoff, what aspect of Masonry do you enjoy the most? And what do you think could be improved within the organisation?
Well, there's a number of things that really sort of, if you like, that I enjoy. I mean, really enjoy and enjoy to the highest level. One of them is our Masonic ceremonies, because I love actually being involved. And it's strange because as a person prior to Freemasonry, you would not have got me up there doing anything. And I suppose that's how Freemasonry's changed me as a person. It's made me more confident in those sort of things, because I would have hid away. To a family do, you wouldn't have got me up dancing. So for me to be standing up in the middle of a room doing a Masonic ceremony is a massive step in the way I've progressed as a person and the way I look at things differently. On the other side of Freemasonry, it's the friendship, the social events, because they are such a massive thing for bonding all the people and all our families together. So, because for me, it is all about the togetherness and the friendship, because if you haven't got those friends and that camaraderie within your organisation, then there's going to be a gap. And for me, that is the bigger side, even more than the ceremonial side. It's got to be the friends I've made, because I've made friends that I would never even come across in my normal walk of life, and met so many fantastic people, and I couldn't commend it anymore. If I had to say there was one thing that could be improved, is when I see events advertised and I see things, it's about, oh, we're having a Freemasonry event. Sort of, I would like to see it pushed and advertised more as to how much we do include our families, the wives, the partners, the children. We do so much for our families to get those into different events, get them all to enjoy what we do and be part of it. But I sometimes don't see around the whole spectrum all that side of it being advertised. And I just think that would put us in such a much better light, if you want in that sort of word, is that if people in the general public saw us that, see us slightly differently, because they would see all the families being involved and say, well, oh, no, it's not just Freemasonry, it's men going to meetings and things like that, because we do so much more than that with the charity, with our family events, and I just think that side could be publicised a little bit better.
What we don't hear an awful lot about in the press is women's lodges and indeed mixed lodges. What do you think about those, Geoff? Do you have a view?
I think they're a good thing, because I think if you go back over the years and go back to some of the perceptions of what Freemasonry was lots of years ago, it's always been seen as it's just men having their own organisation meetings. And I think as we go forward, as we've come forward into a more modern age, I think it's important that sort of, everybody's involved, because when you think about what Freemasonry stands for, with the honesty, the integrity, the charity, sort of what's wrong with sort of having a women's lodge, because they've got just the same amount of honesty, integrity and charitable giving as the men have got, and if they want to mix together and have a mixed lodge, what's wrong with that? We're all practicing those same principles. We're all getting together and becoming good friends and involving our families. So I see absolutely no issues with that at all.
Geoff, and finally the biggest question of all. Given that you have been a Mason for 8 years or so, you're a master of one lodge and a junior warden in another, so you're experienced of the organisation. Would you recommend it to others?
Without doubt. Absolutely, 100%. I think it's one of those things that once you step over the line and you make that step, I have seen no reason for turning back and changing my mind in any way, shape or form. I would actually say it's one of the best decisions I have ever made in the 56 years I've been alive. So I've loved every minute of it, and if anybody asked me a question and said, do you think it's right for me? I would say yes, absolutely, 100%.
Geoff Diggles, thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure.